Hey guys, I'm back, and this time it's another slightly dark video in kind of relation to my scary story time. And as well as watching ghost story videos on YouTube, I'm watching lots of conspiracy theory videos, and I thought with DC making a lot of waves right now, we're going to talk about the curse of Superman and the mysterious death of the Superman actor George Reeves. Okay, so basically the Suicide Squad just came out. It's been a big box office smash. Critics didn't like it so much, but the other recent DC films haven't really matched up to that, including this Superman ones, Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel, and that kind of links into what I'm going to talk about, the curse of Superman. But Henry Cavill, he has said that he doesn't believe in the curse of Superman. He doesn't think it's a thing. I'm pretty sure it was him that said that, but maybe that's why it's not making that dollar. Let's go in and investigate what exactly the Superman curse is and who it has claimed as its victim. The curse actually dates back right to basically the creation of Superman. So, Superman was created by two guys, Schuster and I've forgotten the other guy's name. I didn't write down their names. But basically they're the two co-creators, basically the writer and the artist. And they basically sold the character to DC for a very, very small amount of money. I couldn't find the exact amount. And they were basically broke. Like, they couldn't, obviously Superman is made, it's like a multi-million-dollar thing now, but they sold it for just a small amount of money and they couldn't get any royalties on it because they'd sold it. So the artist, Joe Shuster, he basically started having problems with his vision. He was basically going blind. He was basically broke and blind, and because of this he got a job as like a parcel delivery man. And one day that job took him to the DC headquarters, and everyone that worked there was like really, really embarrassed that he was like the creator of one of their biggest characters. It was just, I mean, yeah, it was bad for them, which sounds horrible because it's probably worse for him. Like, he was blind and broke, and basically one of the CEOs of DC basically paid him $100 and was like, you look awful, buy a new coat and find a new job because we don't want you coming back in here embarrassing DC, which is horrible. And they fought and fought and fought to get their rights back, and they never really got full rights back to Superman, obviously, but they did eventually kind of get credit in the 70s, around the time that Christopher Reeve's first film came out, and they got like a pension from DC in the end, so it did all work out. But yeah, and that's not, there was other people that worked on the cartoon, Superman cartoon, that they were like brothers and they ended up fighting, and one of them basically died, but he ended up living the rest of his life in poverty. So thanks, Superman. For me, the most interesting victim of this supposed Superman curse, which I'm not going to go into too much, the whole curse and every story, as I said, it's all on Wikipedia if you want to read into it. There's probably other stuff out there. It's George Reeves, which, yes, is very eerily similar name to Christopher Reeve, and they are both probably two of the most iconic people to play Superman. So George Reeves plays Superman in the 1950s TV show Adventures of Superman. Yay! And his death is super suspicious, like it's basically its own conspiracy theory. And so basically it was ruled as suicide, but there's a lot more than meets the eye. So it goes that George Reeves, there's two different versions. The one that he's went out to dinner with his fiancée, Lamore Lemon. Yes, her name is Lamore Lemon. That's her, well, I don't know if it is her, I think it's her real name. Then they went out for a meal with some friends and they got into an argument. Though Jim Beaver, who some of you guys may recognise as Bobby Singer from Supernatural, he also had like a second secret career as a film historian, and he apparently said that George had been to a boxing match, no, not boxing, wrestling, I think it might have been one of those two, with this guy called George LaBelle, but George LaBelle said that he hadn't even been fighting, and that he hadn't seen George that day, or he hadn't seen him since really early in the morning that day. George and more Lemon return home, and George goes to bed, and Lemon, she was like kind of notoriously known as a bit of a party girl, and she invites some neighbours round, and they start having a bit of a party downstairs in the living room, I believe, and George kind of comes down in a huff. He's trying to sleep. He gets a little bit angry with them at first, but eventually he calms down. He has a drink with them before heading up to bed. And it's once he's back upstairs that supposedly a gunshot is heard from upstairs, and George has sadly taken his own life. But there's a lot of stuff here about there wasn't gunpowder, or like it would have been if the gun had been close to his head, but it wouldn't if it had been right against it. So there's a lot of, I don't know, people trying to use that as a way to disprove it. And also Lemon supposedly had links with like mobs and the mobsters, and that it could have been something to do with that. Also, she acted really suspiciously. They didn't call the police for ages after they heard the gunshot, which they blamed on them being drunk. But I mean, if I had a fiance and he killed himself, but I don't know how, like, even if I was really drunk, I really don't think I would have, like, forgot to call the police straight away. And also there's this rumour that when the police did arrive, or when some people arrived the next day, she was already washing away the bloody sheets, washing away the blood from the sheets. So, I mean, she's super shady. I don't know if she did anything. I don't know. George was before having an affair with a married woman, and she didn't like Lemon at all, and she definitely, you know, definitely kind of put it out there that maybe it was something to do with Lemon being a shady character. But at the same time, there's perfect reason that her husband, who knew about the affair and approved of it, could eventually snapped and gone after George, although that affair had technically ended.